Hello. So in this video we're going to be looking at how to improve and animate the SVG, the composite SVG image that we created in the previous video. So I've got lots of SVGs now which are being created by the loop, and what I've done recently is I've looked up how to animate a PNG, and there's actually a Python package which allows you to do that, which is, yeah, believe it or not, if you look on the internet, there's loads of sites that actually charge to convert between PNG and SVG. Anyway, back to how to animate a PNG. I believe it was apng pip install, and don't be misled when you install this, because when you run it, you'll see in your folder file explorer, you'll see what looks like a static image. But when you run it or view it in your browser, I've tested it on Linux Mint with, I think it was with Firefox. I actually had an animated image, so I tested that last night on my laptop. So today I'm just going to run it here and show you it in an actual video. Once I've got that up and running, then another thing I want to look at is something called it's GPT-3, but it will dynamically name the files. But what I actually want to do is use that to print the text on the files as well. So if you remember, at the moment, let's look at emerged. I'm being really nervous opening this because it makes the machine virtually freeze, but I think let's just use the viewer and hold the breath. There we go. So that's what we left the last video on. So I was creating numerous ones of these with different colored squares in the top left, bottom right, and the Dr. Pi text across there. So what I ultimately want to end up with is different text here, and then obviously we will eventually use a different background image. So just close that, and where's my code? So far I've written one called squares2, which is the main code that you saw in the last video. Make NFT style images based on one initial image. I've also got PNG to SVG. This code I didn't write in any shape or form, I've just found it. So did I even modify it? No. So all you do is you pass PNG to SVG, and then you pass the name of the PNG as an argument. So let's just go back to what I was talking about just now, and let's just do, I don't think I've installed it on this machine so far, so let's just do, what is it? Is it pip install apng, copy and paste from there, whack that in there, and let's see what happens. So that looks okay. So then let's start a new file. So what we will do is copy, I'll bring this back across. Sorry, I've got two screens and I keep moving stuff off the screen and then you can't see it. So if I just zoom in on this, this is example code from apng. When was it last updated? March 2020. Okay. Normally, if code is too old, then you kind of think, oh, it's probably not even written for Python 3, but if code's from 2019, 2020, 21, it's all right, isn't it? Right, so let's just copy that and put it in here. And as luck would have it, my files are actually called first, second, and third. So let me just collapse that directory. So we're going to run this from the main directory, the NFT directory. So all we want to look for is first. The number after, oh, it needs to be PNG, doesn't it? The number after the file name, I believe, is how many milliseconds in. So they'll need to be 100 apart, otherwise it would just look a bit odd. Let's try that for starters. And I'm going to call that animated underscore result. Save, and we want to save that as animator. Animate, is it OR or ER? I don't know. I think it's OR. Animator.py. So if we run that, why is it giving me squiggle there? Oh, I've copied and pasted it, and it's not pep. Let's just backspace that and then tab it back. Right. I think it's happy. Let's run it then. So Python 3 animator. Sorry, it's a bit early. The fingers haven't warmed up yet. Why is that? It's that backtick. I don't know how that got in there. Okay, so no such file or directory first. Oh, sorry, my fault. So I've made the SVGs, but I need to convert the SVGs to PNGs so that I can convert them into an animated PNG. With me so far? So we need to run. I'm going to do this manually, but ultimately I would script it. So let's run Python PNG. No, it's not that at all, is it? We want to. In fact, is that? I think I might have called that the wrong thing. Oh no, PNG to SVG. Right, okay. We need to convert first, second, third. No, we don't. Sorry. We need to convert all of these SVGs. We need to convert these. I'll just show you one of these again. So we need to convert merged 1 down to merged 9. We need to convert into PNG, and then once they're in PNG format, we can then create our animation. So if we go down to 9, let's see, 2, 9, and obviously all the ones in between are just slightly different variations on that same idea. So we need to have a little script that converts SVG to PNG. So it's the opposite of what that one does. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Let's see what we can find for. I'll stay on this side actually. Convert SVG to PNG. Wow, SVG to G code. That would be fun if if I resurrected my CNC project and then tried to machine some SVGs. Rendering. SVG. Creating, editing, and rendering SVG images. Let's just have a look at that. Let's just see if it. Oh, nothing actually works yet. Oh. Right, okay. Python SVG to PNG. I don't really want to start using Pillow or any long convoluted scripts. SVG lib. That sounds about right. Oh, of course, we've already done it. Sorry, we've already done it. My apologies. We've already done it. I commented it out, didn't I, in the first video. So squares 2. Apologies if any of you were screaming at the screen. I just need to uncomment these. Sorry. Right, so let's. Sorry about the screen flicker on Linux. I think it's, as I said before, I think it's the NVIDIA drivers. I think Microsoft had done a deal with NVIDIA, so the open source drivers aren't so great, but I think it's also because I'm running OBS, it's just making it flicker because it's busy. Right, let's why's that got one error? Let's just scroll up and look to see where the red bit is. That's just saying because it's gone past 80 characters. I should remember that. Okay, let's go for. I'm just going to bring up the sidebar there as well. And let's run squares2.py. So that's really what it's going to do, is it's going to make those 9 SVG images again, but it's also going to save the 3. Oh, it's not found first, that's right, because. Sorry about this, everybody. I need to include. I was only doing 2 images with the squares. I need to add the first back in first, and first, second, third. Yeah, so hang in there. This will be very good in a minute. Promise you. You'll be glad you watched, or you'll be glad you've skipped to 2 minutes from the end when I've got everything working. Right, try again. So that no such file or directory. Source images first PNG. Oh yeah, I know. I started with a subdirectory called source images. All right, try again. That's better. Right. So now I should have some first, second, and third. Refresh. There we go. Third, second, first. Okay. And that's only outputted the 3 layers. We need to put in we need to output the composite. So what we actually need to do is within that for loop up here, just remove that. Within this for loop, I'm making all of the SVGs, but what I also need to do is make a PNG of each SVG. So what I actually need to do is, I don't care about those actually, so comment those out as before, but what we need to do is actually use that and put it within the for loop. And then we need to copy this down to here. And then render, again, I should have changed that to a variable. I'll do that eventually if this works. Okay, so let's try and run it again. So this time, instead of having first, second, and third PNGs, we should have a PNG of each of the merged images. And then that will provide us with PNGs 1 to 9, which we can then animate. Hold the breath. Is it working? It's taking its time. It's probably taking a lot longer now because it's got to make 10 PNG files. Imagine if we were making, imagine if we were making 10,000 CryptoPunks. Is that an error? Or is, I don't think that's an error. I think that's actually working. Let's, if I can refresh that, we should see if we've got any. It's not looking good, but what we want to start seeing is merged 1.png. No. I'm going to pause it here because this could take quite some time. And that has produced nothing, so I really don't know what those collinear XOR are. Here, you see the merged 1 down to merged 9. We should have had merged 1 down to merged 1 down to merged 9 PNG files. Oh, right, okay. Draw in. Function, so file name and then the format. That should have been PNG in here. Try again. What that actually needs to be the new file name, not the file name. Drawing is the object that you've passed to it from the original file name. So let's run this. Fingers crossed we'll get the desired output this time. That was incompetence on my part, I'm afraid. As this runs, we should be able to refresh and start seeing same message though, isn't it? We should be able to start seeing, there we go, merged 1. If I refresh it again, we should get merged. Hopefully we'll get merged 2 shortly. Anytime now. Merged 2. Yes, so you can see the speed at this. which this operates. It's not quick, but I gather it's doing a lot of work. So scaled vector graphics are basically a series of x, y, not sure about z, x and y, and color RGB coordinates. Obviously a PNG is a load of pixels, so presumably it's got to write a handful of coordinates into a big bucket full of pixel values. So anyway, if we were making 10,000 CryptoPunks, we'd probably leave this running overnight. And to be honest, it would be worth a while because the money that they sell for is it thousands or millions of dollars? I'm not sure if any have sold for millions, but it's ridiculous. NFTs. Non-fungible token. So one of the things about the blockchain and something like a cryptocurrency is that it's meant to be fungible. Thus means it's basically a commodity, so it's kind of like for like. So that's why the non is so important with non-fungible tokens. What it really means is it's a one-off, it's unique. So if you've got a non-fungible token, it's a one-off piece of art. And because of the blockchain, you can be the sole owner of that. So if you want to read about the blockchain, and especially this kind of ties up with the money problem with digital money, and the problem which they managed to solve, or Satoshi solved, was the double spend problem. With digital with something like an MP3 or a photo, you can email that to several people. But obviously, it wouldn't be good if you could send the same money. If you had £10 in your bank account and you could send that to 10 people, that would not make sense. So here we go. We've got 9 merged images. Let's just open that. I really don't know what's done with the eyes. It's gone a bit crazy there, but I hope there's no children watching because you're going to have nightmares. But there's some kind of crazy thing going on with the eyeballs there. But anyway, so now we've got 9 PNGs after a little bit of incompetence on my part. But right, so now what we're going to do next is we need to change that so that it's not. Tell you what, let's just do it with. We'll hard code it first. So merged 1, merged 2. Let's learn to walk before we try and fly. So let's try that, and Python Aminator. No such file. Oh, these are inside the subdirectory, aren't they? Right. Output. So in a second, we are about to make an animated PNG file. So let's try again. And that appears to work. And we want to look for a file called animated result. There we go. And if we open containing folder, and okay, so this is what I was saying earlier. With this, you will see that it's static, and you'll think that you've made a load of rubbish. But if we open with Firefox, there we go. We've got an animated Is this an NFT? Actually, do you think there's a resemblance? I think that's pretty cool. So the next thing to do, now we've managed to animate it, is we want to, I saw a video, I'm just gonna leave it on there while we're talking because I think that's amazing. GPT-3, which is I forget what GPT-3 stands for even. Let's open a new window. I always open a private window just because I don't want everyone seeing all my business. All my confidential information. To be honest, it's more that I don't want everyone knowing that I've got about 5 different addresses and aliases. That was on YouTube, I think. YouTube GPT. Is it GPT-3 or just GPT? GPT NFT generative generative art. Oh, they're using Node.js. Okay. Let's see. Let's just have a look at. I don't want to do all that sign-in nonsense. Just go. Oh, sorry everybody. That was my video that came up. How embarrassing. Let's take away YouTube then. Let's just go for GPT. Okay. Instead, let's look for name files using GPT. Test generation tutorial for beginners, OpenAI text generator. Demo and flat file, gpt3demo.com. Let's see what that's all about. So ideally, we just want to come up with some random names for different characters. Obviously, the Dr. Pi is one such character, but for a collection, the whole point of NFTs is that they're kind of, you can make a collection, and that kind of makes them more desirable, because then it's a bit like when you're young and you trade football stickers, or it's like having a similar car to your friend. You can kind of, yeah, chat about it or whatever. So let's see what this gives us. We want to just code refactoring, games, essay writing. Too TLDR, too long, don't read. File naming using GPT-3. Decline all, just go. Generative, I can't even say it. Generative pre-trained transformer 3, GPT-3, is a new language model created by OpenAI that is able to generate written text of such quality that is often difficult to differentiate from text written by a human. Or if you look at some of the text written by humans, that's not difficult. Do you find it hard to believe that GPT-3 can generate text that is virtually indistinguishable from what a human writer can produce? Working with GPT-3 presets. Right, let's look at Python GPT-3. Try that for starters. Build a chatbot. No, we don't want to build a chatbot. We just want to name some files. I think you're taking a sledgehammer to crack a nut here. So, random phrase generator. So, yeah, you just have a pool of words and then you just jumble them up, I believe. Random word generator. Let's go for that one instead, shall we? Wow, that's 20. Grab a word list from the web and return a list. So that gets our list of words, and that then randomizes them, uppercases the start of them, and then makes a random name. Okay, that looks quite good. Let's just do that then. So that's got 14 upvotes. So let's just move that out of the way. And Dr. Pie's still animating there, so I think that's can't stop admiring it. Sorry, everybody. We're gonna have to move on, onwards and upwards. So Control N, new file. What? I don't know if it's just my VS Code, but when I write, I just right click sometimes and or help, it just does crazy stuff. So I think I've I don't know. Anyway, save that as, what should we call it? What's the site it's using? Word grabber, word underscore grab .py. Actually, I think Python 3 should, I thought I set up an alias on here. Yeah. And would you believe it, that site does not actually exist or work anymore, so I'm just going to try. Oh, it does exist. So where's the code? There's something wrong with that code. Was that trying Python? Did that try Python 2 maybe? Nope. So what's gone wrong? Error not found. Oh, there's a timeout. Right, let's get rid of sidebar. Get rid of that. To be honest, could just use HTTP requests, might be easier. Requests.get word URL. yeah. Response. Okay. So far so good. Let's just print the words. Oh, it did need the decode. I wonder if we can get it as JSON. Actually, let's get rid of that. Let's just let's just check the status. We can get 200 or 404. 404, so that's not valid. It's not liking us going to it via. Oh, does it need headers or something? Okay. Okay, so yeah, after a little bit more trial and error, that original URL wasn't working, so we're using requests. The URL is mit.edu, response equals requests.get, and it was actually returning the bytes object, so then we just need to decode UTF to strip off the B and the quotes. So now we've got, let's try and run that and just see if we got all the words. No, there we go. Right, so what we need to do next is we just need to create some random names. Okay, so this URL was actually returning a bytes object as the response, or with the response.content. So we just need to convert the bytes object into text. And there we have it. So response.text will give you the text of the response bytes object. So we've actually now got a list of words. Yale, Yamaha, Yahoo, Yacht, Ya, Wyoming, Xanax, Xerox, XNXX, Triple X, writings written wrong. Okay, so we've got a big load of words. Now we just need to create a name using a random pair of two of those words. Okay, I had to pause that and have a little bit of a think. So what I was doing was actually taking the first character from each word, and I was just ending up with two letters, which was a bit wrong. Need to do word. So the response object is bytes, then I convert it to text here. Once it's text, you then need to use split lines to give you each word. Once you've got each word, then you can randomly, from 0 to the length of the list of words, you can randomly pick two of those and then join them, because otherwise you'd end up with two list items with a pair of single quotes around. So now if I run this, we should get a random two-word name, platform enlargement. I don't know if that's, let's run it again. Museums termination, expressed client, you get the idea, Vegas Co, mother anthropology, era density, qualified garage. So I don't know if qualified garage is a good name for a non-fungible token. What do you think? But we're demonstrating the concept. So if I can get a list of suitable names and words, then we'll use that in due course. But for now, I think this is good code. This is good code that will allow us to create a 2-word name for our non-fungible token. So let's carry on. So I think what I need to do probably to be able to use this is to turn this into a function which I can then call. Otherwise it's going to start getting quite a large file. So let's indent that and let's call it def 2-word name, and it's going to return it's just going to return a random name. Don't really need those brackets there either. Okay, so happy? Yeah. These linters are very fussy. Okay, so let's save that and random name. So I need to import word underscore grab into my main file. So in fact, what I need to say so we don't get any import errors is what happened there? It jumped right down. From word grab import to word name. Sorry, wrong way around. No, that's okay. Right. Two-word name. Two-word name. Missing imports. I'm just going to run that. I don't believe it. I bet it's actually making. I bet it's actually making the files while we talk. Yeah, it's doing it. Problems. Yeah, there we go. Word grab, two-word name, imported but unused. Okay. Let's stop that. Stop. Cool. So let's just print two-word. Let's just print the two-word name right at the end. So in fact, let's print it at the start and then we can just quit it. So print two-word name, pair of brackets. Let's debug it. Response 200, good. Right, let's keep going. It's running the do-word name function, fine. Fisher attending. And it's done it, so now it's going to go to the main and it's going to carry on. I don't know what that, so I don't quite know what that error was for. Again, VS Code kind of, as amazing as it is, it does throw up some kind of unnecessary warning messages, I would say. So, yeah. In fact, let's undo that and let's call it, could actually make it constant. TWN, two-word name, TW name equals, keep it up there with the constants. Right, so then when we come to name our, to do the text on the Dr. Pi, instead of Dr. Pi, we can put here TW name. And if that works, I think I deserve a well-earned cup of something caffeinated, and we'll call it a day then. So let's just run this and hopefully this will work. And what we want to see is a sequence of SVG files as normal, 1 to 9, and then we want to have, I think it's number 3 where I add the text. Is it third one? Yeah, add some text. So SVG3 should then have a random, what's going on here? There we go, run squares. SVG3 should have a random to, I know what the problem would be next. The 2-word phrase is going to be way too long and it's going to go off the edge of the image. But that can be fixed by just changing the font size, which at the moment it's 90 pixels, so it's huge. So the fix for that will be to change 90 down to probably something like 30 or 40. So hopefully this has been interesting. It's kind of just been me freestyling a bit and just doing a bit of kind of development work on the NFT project. So what we've done today is we've successfully converted 3 SVGs to PNG to start with. Then what I did was then I put the SVG to PNG code inside the main for loop. Then I created 9 or 10. Does it start at 1 or not? I think it starts at 1. So I created 9 PNG files and then I animated it, as you saw, animated Dr. Pi image. And then we went off and got a collection of words from an online resource, and we split them. We split the list, and then we just randomly picked 2 of those. And then I made the function called word grab in a separate file, imported that into the squares the main squares2.py code, and hopefully in a minute we will see that we've randomly changed the text on our output, on our merged output file. So the next step then would be to start using different background images, because we don't want an NFT collection of 10,000 Dr. Pi's really. To be honest, one modification would be, if you remember the CryptoPunks, some have a beard, some have headphones, some have lipstick and so on. So I could probably make a function still using the Dr. Pi base image, but I could make a function, much like I've got the functions which are adding the squares or drawing the rectangles. I could then add another function which then creates, I could create one to change the eye color. Actually, no, change the sunglasses color maybe. I could add another one to add a beard. It would be called draw beard, and then it would add some pixels just around the chin, obviously. And then that would randomly change, I'd have to randomly change the RGB color of the beard, and so on. So hopefully you're getting the idea. We're randomly creating a collection. And I don't know why I've still got the error. That's one problem. Well, let me be the judge of whether it's a problem or not. So let's look at the third PNG. And it's not. First. What did we just do then? We made. There we go. Oh, third SVG we need to check. First, third SVG. There we go. Raises. Raises something, another word beginning with D. Oh yeah, so then our result was called, we've got two separate things here. We've got some animation going on, and then we've just got our static image, haven't we? First. So was it merged SVG? No. So the third SVG, which it's got we need to fix this. So first, second, third. So the third SVG. Let's just look at them merged. I think they should be okay actually. Yeah, it's done it. So we've now got 9. Let's open containing folder. I'm really nervous when I open the SVGs because they can, if you open them as a text file, they can get you a not responding message. So yeah, we've got the right, just to show that there was no skullduggery going on there, no sleight of hand. Let's run this one more time. So at the moment we've got raises, and I'm just going to, before we run it another time, let's just go and change the font size down to 30. I'll change the font color as well. Let's go for some green. Okay, so we'll run it again, and then we should get 9 new images merged 1 to 9, and the SVG of those should have a two-word phrase as the name. And if that works, we'll call it a day there. And in the next video, what I'll look to do is then start work on adding some random features. So maybe a beard, a cigarette maybe, like the CryptoPunks, maybe an earring. And then we can randomly change those combinations. So earring, beard, randomly changing the colors, randomly changing the text. So already it's kind of growing, and ultimately we would then want I don't know if we want 10,000, but let's pick a number. How many? 200? We'll create 200 unique NFTs. We'll create 200 unique NFTs, and some will have a beard, some will be smoking a cigarette, some will have an earring. We'll have 200 different names. So I think that's quite a good approximation of how to make our own CryptoPunks for NFT, non-fungible tokens. Apologies for these silly little warning messages in VS Code. I don't know. One problem. What even is that problem? Oh, it's because, yeah, too long. I went past 79 characters. It's showing it up like red, which makes it look like a really bad error. Personally, I don't think it should warrant red. Maybe yellow, or not even orange. I could probably go in and turn that off, but that's that's a trivial thing to be doing. So this should nearly be finished now. As you can see, it takes a while. So if I make 200 images ultimately, then it'll probably be I don't know, it might be an overnight job, or I'll record it and I'll do the old fast forward camera magic on it. In fact, while this is running, we could probably check the first one. Let's just check. Hopefully I'm not going to crash it. We've got 2 words. Yes, there we go. Romance Salem. So yeah, all 9 are going to have that same 2-word phrase. In fact, if it finishes quite soon, what we'll do is we'll just animate that again as well. Oh, this is finished. So let's animate it. So we're going to run our animator. What it's going to do is it's going to pick on merged 1, merged 2, merged 3. So yeah, so whilst it was making the SVGs, it's also made me the PNGs, because we use the PNGs to animate. So let's just run that as well one last time before we wrap it up. So animator py, let's run that. That ran really quickly because it's just making one really small image. Animated result. Oh, and it's even animating it in VS Code, which is what a bonus that is. So yeah, look at that. So you've got a random colored squares with a random name. And as I say, next we'll look at maybe randomly adding a beard or a cigarette or an earring. So yeah, hopefully this has been very interesting. If it is, thumbs up. Please subscribe because of the algos. It makes a difference, and then, you know, it gives me some motivation, which is what we all need, isn't it? So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. If you've liked this kind of freestyle video, then let me know. If not, I'll go back to doing the kind of the 15-minute ones with all the subtitles and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Thanks then, bye.